Hello, this is Mark from the MeTechie channel. Thanks for joining me. Today we're talking about an upgraded mic stand here. I just purchased and received and set up the InnoGear microphone arm stand, heavy duty mic arm, microphone stand, suspension scissor boom stands with mic clip and cable ties for Blue Yeti Snowball and Blue Yeti Nano. Those two microphones, the Yeti Snowball and Nano, I don't have those microphones. I actually do have a Snowball mic, but I'm here to tell you that this arm is compatible with all kinds of microphones, provided you have a standard, rod diameter. Now, the mic stand that this replaced, I'll show you here, was originally from a company called Newer, which I had really never heard of. And it was one of those low-cost, less than $50 microphone and stand combinations, which you can see a ton of on the internet. They're just literally a dime a dozen. No offense to the people that make these. I'm sure there's a lot of passion behind making these, or maybe there isn't. But if there is a lot of passion, I apologize for saying anything bad about it. I'm a customer, and I bought 3 of these low-end microphones, one for work, one for home, and another one for another employee. And they actually get the job done. They're perfect for training videos and basic stuff. But for the YouTube channel here and for the main YouTube channel that I have, I wanted a better mic. So this is the same microphone that Art Bell used to use. And if you remember him, he was a syndicated radio talk show host on AM radio, and he would do all kinds of things like UFO talks and things like that. So the moment I found out that he used this mic, which is a Heil microphone, I said, that's the mic for me. I want to do that because I like UFOs. No, that's not the truth. The truth is I just wanted a mic that I knew was being used by people that I really admire. So anyway, this microphone stand is the original stand, and it has springs. Problem with springs are, and a lot of these do have springs, and that's fine. You need springs to get the job done. But the problem is the spring noise would then reverberate through the microphone, which is not a good thing. So the other thing is it wouldn't hold up under the weight of the microphone, which you're going to see here in a minute. This microphone is way too heavy for this stand. So truth be told, this is a hack job. I basically bought a new mic, but I didn't buy a new mic stand to go with it. So after about 4 or 5 years of that, this stand has finally given up the ghost. You can see here the rod was starting to bend. I had to bend it back 2 or 3 times now. So I said enough is enough. So let's upgrade to a newer heavy-duty mic stand, which I'm pleased to tell you that so far so good. This comes with cable ties, and let me just show you one other thing. Now, I don't have the exact dimensions, but the old mic stand used a very thin rod. It's less than the diameter of my pinky, so it's very thin. This new one is about twice, maybe 3/4 more than this one. In other words, it's bigger. And what you'll get a lot of times with the microphones that you purchase, this one came with its own mic clip. I don't know if you can see that here. There it is. There's a good view of the mic clip. See the mic clip? And it came with a reducer. So you'll sometimes see a reducer because the old stand had a smaller diameter rod. So this would compensate for that and allow me to use a bigger, for this bracket, it made it so that the dimension was correct. So just keep that in mind when you buy these. It may not exactly match your setup, but I think there's really only 2 standard sizes. So with that said, just kind of pay close attention when you buy these things. All right, so that is that. You can read the description. This is the 19-inch version. It can hold up to 4.5 pounds. That's the bearing capacity. It's got 360 turnaround capability, and it can expand a maximum reach of 38 inches horizontally and 37 inches vertically. So this thing is really like a giant tentacle that can come out and put your mic where you need it to be. And that for me is important because I have a stand-up desk. So sometimes I'm sitting when I present, sometimes I'm standing. I have a keyboard here that is exactly 90 degrees to my right. So I'm always swinging this microphone back and forth. And that also helped wear and tear the other one out. So hopefully this one will last even longer. But I will tell you that it's got a lot of resistance. As I move it up and down, it stays put exactly where you put it. And I think that's exactly why they call this a heavy duty stand. You'll also notice that there's no knobs here allowing me to tighten it any more than it already is, because you don't need that. It's like the famous Titanic movie where she says to the engineer, So there's not enough lifeboats. And he said, well, this ship is the only lifeboat you need. In other words, you don't need knobs on this. The problem with the Titanic is it sank. So hopefully in 5 years from now, or even 2 months from now, we won't be wishing that I had knobs on here to tighten this up. Anyway, sorry for the aside. Stay tuned. We're going to set it up now, and we'll go from there if you want to see some details on how this works. Thanks for staying with me. Okay, we're going to replace this microphone stand with the spring arm with a newer one. This is what I call a basic entry-level stand here, although it's not holding an entry-level mic at the moment, and that's part of the problem. This mic is actually pretty heavy, so I think over time it has sort of stretched this arm out a bit. Let me show you a couple things wrong with it. Number one, it doesn't have the staying power that it does. Look at this. That's the best it can do, and really what you want out of these is to at least be able to stay up with its own power and maybe secure it here. But this mic is so heavy that it just drags down on it. And that's a problem because I like that mic, so I need a better arm, a better stand for it. So I'm going to take this top microphone bracket out. This is specific to the mic that I have. It's a Heil microphone. It's used sometimes in broadcasting, so that's the one I'm using. So the other problem with this arm, obviously it's really lightweight metal. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just bend it. So it wore out, basically. And it was, like I said, it was an entry-level type thing. So we're going to replace that with a brand new arm. Now this arm here, I'm going to do my best to show you what it looks like. It comes with the bracket, or the brace, or whatever you want to call this. Now, it feels lighter weight almost than the other one, but it feels thicker and stronger overall. Although this bottom piece here, this piece that butts up against this piece feels like plastic. The screw is metal, and the brace or the bracket itself is metal. This little knob here is plastic, but it is attached to a metal screw. But overall, even though there are plastic components on this, it feels a little stronger than the original. Yeah, well, the original is mostly metal actually, but I think it just feels, this feels a little sturdier because the metal here is thicker. Okay, next, and the most important thing, is the arm itself. Now this arm is really a step up. But it wasn't all that much a step up in investment. So first of all, notice how it's completely enclosed. There are no exposed springs. And the exposed springs really were a problem with the microphone because I would always hear the spring noise inside the microphone, especially if I just did this to the spring. That's all I would hear was the spring noise with these sensitive mics. Notice also that there are no knobs to twist, tighten, or lock this. Not a single knob on here. So what that tells me is that we can assume that whatever direction I move this in or whatever position I have it in, its job is to stay right where it is no matter where I position it. Over and over and again, I hope. At least that's the hope. So let's get the bracket on here. And we'll do it in the exact same position as the original. Like so. It's got a piece of, almost like a rubber piece, to protect whatever it is, as well as to give it a real, I can already feel this is a lot stronger than the other one, so that's good. Now this arm simply goes into the brace like this. So you go straight up and down. Then you have this knob here to tighten it. So that would tighten left and right, although it doesn't seem to do that. It's probably just more of a positioning thing than anything else. Maybe it wasn't in all the way. Okay, that's a little better, but I can still move it, which is fine by me. It's not going to come out. All right, then this is, yeah, I can feel the resistance in this, and I assume that this is correct and proper. It's going to be a lot better when I have the microphone on there, but I can see this has got a lot of resistance to it, which means it's going to stay put. Okay, so now on this it's not fitting, and the reason for that is there's really two types of microphone sizes here, and I actually have an adapter on this, which I can't take out at the moment, without a tool, I can feel I can't do that. So I have an adapter to reduce the diameter to the particular mic that I had, the end of the mic rod that I had before. So this is much wider, which is good. So I just need to take out this adapter. Let me do that and I'll come back. Okay, so I managed to get this loosened, and this is essentially the adapter. You can see it there. I'm going to loosen it up here, and this simply reduces the width, the diameter. Now I've got a much bigger area, the right size hole for the new rod. So here we go. This should be standard, and it looks to be. So now I'll just put this on. I'll screw here. This, okay. And this is the cup that holds the microphone. There's the microphone. And now we'll rewire the attachment. Notice too that I'm using one of these 90-degree angles at the end of the mic. That gets the position perhaps a little bit more in tune. I guess it really wouldn't matter, but I wanted it to be as out of the way as possible because my hands are under the keyboard when I'm talking on the mic. So I guess I'll start with this end. There we go. See how that kind of fits just like that? Nice and snug and neat. And then for this, I just take them off this end and I'll wire it like this around a couple of times on the top, just like this, just to kind of keep it. Then I'll come up this loop here. It's got sort of already a cord catch, which is probably meant to hide the cord. I'll come down here a couple of times, and then I'll plug it in. I'll go one more time here around this. There we go. Plug it into my audio interface. And now I should have all the capability. Check, test one. Swing like this. This obviously would be here, which I probably wouldn't play with that too much, because I got this angle here and I've got this angle here, like this. There's a number of ways I can do this. I'll probably straighten this out a little bit later. But the bottom line is, you can move this back and forth now, and it can be any position you want it to be, and it seems to be very, very taut and resistant, and it seems like no matter where I put it, it won't be a problem. You can see now I don't have that problem where it just sags down. This is sagging down because I don't have it exactly the way I want it right now, but I'll figure that out later. But see, it'll be any position you put it, just like that. And I think that's the difference between these heavy-duty arms with no exposed springs and no tighteners versus the ones that have the tighteners. It's night and day. Now there is a little bit of resistance moving this around, but technically speaking that's what you want. You want resistance so that you can move it any which way and it'll stay there for the most part. It is very easy to swing. You can see I'm effortlessly swinging it. I probably don't have it tight. No, I don't. So now that I've tightened it, it's a little bit more resistant, but it's still very swingable. I don't know if that's by design or not, but there it is. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's something that I've been wanting for a while, and I finally upgraded my microphone arm. Thanks for watching.